What's good, YouTube? I'm back again with another car vlog. The next question is someone who will remain anonymous. They're not a social media influencer, so no need to give them a shout out unless y'all want shout outs. If y'all want shout outs, just put it in your comment. I want to remain anonymous, or I want to shout out. It's cool with me either way. Anyway, until I start receiving those types of questions on my Instagram, you all be anonymous. But I'm gonna read this question off my iPad if you're wondering why I'm looking down. She says, is it okay to keep receiving gifts, is my question, if you don't want to be with him? No. Never take gifts from any man that you don't plan on being with, or don't see a future with, or don't have an affinity for, or some kind of admiration. A lot of guys acquire a lot of baggage from those types of scenarios. Women from a very young age always were trying to get something from me, and even when I could tell they didn't want anything from me, they would always try to manipulate me out of things, because at one point I was known as the nicest guy in school. I wasn't dumb enough to fall for any of that. But when you accept gifts, or when you request gifts from men that you don't have a plan for, ultimately it hurts them a little bit more than if you were to just turn down a gift. I remember when I was in 3rd grade, I had a super big crush on this girl, and I tried to give her like a gold ring that I bought at some festival or something for like $7. It was fake gold. It was turning my ring finger green, but I thought it was gold. And so I tried to give her the gift, and even in the 3rd grade she was smart enough to be like, listen, I don't like you enough to take your gift. I don't even want to mislead you. I'm sure she didn't express it that way in 3rd grade. I think she just shook her head no until I left her desk, and I was tricking off, so she should have. But the point is this: had she accepted that ring, I would have thought I had a chance with her, and I would have been more motivated to not only do more for her, but I would have liked her a lot more, because I would have gotten excited, right? And sometimes you can excite a man by accepting his gifts, by accepting his favors, by accepting his support when you have nothing planned for him. And sometimes it can be the worst thing a woman can do to a man, because eventually he catches on that he has no chance, or you have to break it to him that, hey, I've been accepting these gifts from you. I've been accepting these favors, but I really don't like you. I don't have a purpose for you in my life. Could you stop it? At some point, the gifts and favors will become too much for you, and you won't want them anymore. And then it'll really hurt when he's no longer even of use as a trick. It's really important that you treat people in a way congruent with your purpose for them. If you want somebody to be around, then you be for them. If you don't want somebody giving you gifts, then you don't accept gifts, and you don't give gifts to them. It's just about fairness and ethics. It's unethical if in the business world to accept payment for services not rendered, right? And it's immoral for you to accept gifts with no intention to love or to reciprocate. Just try to keep it moral. Just try to keep it ethical. Don't accept gifts from men who try to trap you with their generosity. A lot of times men are trying to manipulate you into liking them by buying you with gifts and favors. They're misguided, obviously, but they think that if they give you gifts and they give you favors, then they can kind of buy their way into your life and into your social circle. Don't give them that impression, because it will come back to backfire on you when you get a fan or a friend that you can't get rid of and that you don't want. Way too many men are walking around here damaged because they've been disappointed in that way, and they've been used by women in that way so often. We often hear about how guys are users and guys are dogs, but there's just as many women out here taking gifts, taking favors, requesting gifts and favors, letting a man exhaust himself, his time, his resources, his finances, with no plan for that guy at all. They just know he likes them, and so they squeeze him for everything he has to offer, and then they leave him and they dump him for the guy who treats them like shit. He witnesses this whole thing. He sees himself being great. He sees these other guys treating her like shit, and when he watches and see that guy who treats her like shit win, ultimately it teaches him that the only way to win is to treat women like shit. Men incur a lot of traumas that women don't consider and often don't give them credit for enduring. And it creates this thing where women jump in my comment section and they're so hateful and so nasty and so venomous in their comments about men, and they never consider what a man's been through. And if a man does have trauma and they for whatever reason feel it or witness it, he's such a weak man. Look at this weak ass man. He's got mama trouble. He's got daddy issues. Oh my God, they talk so much shit about a damaged man or a man with some trauma or some obvious baggage, and it's always kind of emasculating. But most of the comments are about their traumas and their baggage and the things that they've been through. So I think sometimes just have enough empathy, have enough sympathy on a man that when he's trying to buy your attention or when he's trying to impress you with gifts and favors, if you don't want him, if you don't like him, just tell him no. Tell him you appreciate it, but you either like somebody else or you're just not interested or you're single or whatever you want to tell him. But don't take shit that you're not gonna ultimately pay for in your time or your energy or your attention. Way too many of my clients come to me because men have accepted sex from them in exchange for the hope of a relationship, even though they didn't plan on giving them a relationship, right? They just gave them a bait and switch, right? They accepted their sex, they accepted their energy, they accepted their love, and they didn't plan on reciprocating that. They didn't plan on being what those women hoped. That's immoral. It's as immoral to use a man for his resources without an intention to love him. Because generally men offer their love through resources, through time, through favors, and through gifts. Women offer their loves through intimacy and connection. So when a man lays with you and he doesn't plan on being with you, but he's giving you the impression of it because he's laid with you and he spent a little bit of time with you, it's wrong. If you don't plan on being with a man, it's as wrong for you to take his money, take his gifts, ask him for favors, and you're screwing other guys. It's wrong. And of course, I'm not equating a couple of gifts with the trauma that a woman might feel when a man pretends to like her and has sex with her and then discards her. It's not the same, but it's still wrong. I know that trauma hits harder. I know it's heavier, but it's still wrong to accept things from a man when you don't plan on reciprocating those gifts with love or attention or affection. Men use women for sex. Women use men for money and favors. They're both wrong. They should just stop. Be a better person. Be the change you wish to see in the world. I think I've said enough. Follow me at KFIG24 on Instagram. I'll get with y'all later.